A homeless man down the street who is walking down the street named Tiger notices the airplane explosion a couple blocks down the road. The homeless man drops the drink he was drinking from McDonald's and runs down the street and stops at the now on fire airplane. And Tiger says, "Hey, is anybody alive?" The tiger runs ahead and notices a dead body on the ground and responds, "Oh shit." The glass shattered, glass moving inside the department store nearby. Tiger notices two awkward boys on the windshield of a car and runs over and asks them if they are okay. However, the two boys are unconscious and Stephen's body twitches before he slowly but surely comes back to life and the tiger is looking Stephen in the eyes. John, who is sitting next to Stephen, sits up, noticing Stephen at the same time as John notices Stephen. Tiger walks backward and responds, "I don't know who you two are, but are you guys okay?" Stephen and John look at the homeless man. The homeless man nods a little, and Stephen and John look at one another. Stephen raises his eyebrow and says, "Tiger, I mean, homeless man, what's your name?" The homeless man responds, "Yeah, that's my name, Tiger." John jumps off the car. "Dude, you're Notorious Tiger. The UFC heavyweight champ, dude." Happily responding to Tiger, who isn't acknowledged in the situation, says, "Yeah, I'm him." John and Tiger smack hands and pump this and slam their bodies against each other. John and Tiger share a semblance of a gang snap finger situation, and Steven gets up on the hoodie of the car before he's jumping off, runs to the airplane explosion in which Tiger stops him. Sarah Cunning was still alive, and James Weston had been blown through a window. James Weston's hand slams the concrete in which he slightly slammed his hand on glass. John and Steve run towards Sarah Cunning, while Tiger runs after them. However, Tiger stops and helps James out of the brick department. Tiger pats James on the shoulder, and James and Tiger run into Sarah Cunning. And with all four males decided to look directly at Sarah. Sarah Cunning was still alive, but however in an induced coma. And as they looked at each other, Tiger notices the other dead body and decides to go check on her. Tiger runs, but however stops at the dead body. And when the Tiger notices the situation at hand and falls back, putting his finger through his hair, and says, "Oh shit." John Scott runs next to Tiger and puts his hand, as if it was a oopsing situation, his fist in front of his mouth. Taylor Sandys was officially dead. Her body dismantled on the ground as if it was a child's toy.